Welcome to the Spark Girls podcast, the self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best marketing, writing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shar Barrett.
I'm Trudy J. Welcome to the spa. No Wendy with us this week.
Welcome.
But we have Rebecca Hefner. Hello.
Yay!
Welcome back, Rebecca.
Welcome back. Yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
So
Happy to be back.
Yay.
That's fantastic. Now, I'm just going to really quickly read your bio and then we will dig into the topic for today, which is direct sales, mindset for sales, all kinds of interesting things that people
Sure.
would love to hear
Yeah.
about. But first, USA Today best-selling author Rebecca Hefner writes steamy romantasy and dystopian romance with sexy silver fox heroes and the badass women who bring them to their knees. She also writes steamy contemporary romance under Ayla Asher. Mostly with main characters over 35 because people of all ages deserve steamy romance too. 100% agree.
Yes.
Rebecca's other passion is teaching authors how to be successful with wide audio and direct sales. She believes wide and direct selling is the future and thinks corporate retailers have too much control over authors' catalogs and readers. Join her as she chips away at the big retailers' market share one day at a time. Don't we all?
Love it. I love that. Love that bio.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Welcome to the spa.
Thanks for having me back.
So we last had you on in May 2023, episode 397. If anyone wants to hear all about wide audio marketing, they should go listen to that because there was so much info there. It was amazing. So it was fantastic. We still have fond memories of that episode, which is why we've got you back. And so what's been happening since then? Like what if anything new, anything?
Oh, yeah. So much has happened. It's amazing how that was, I guess, like a year and a half ago. I feel like a year and a half in the author world is 10 years in the real world, right?
Yeah.
It's like dog years, right? Everything goes fast.
Absolutely.
Yes. So much has happened just because I feel like the industry has changed. The industry is always changing and so many new things are happening. But yeah, no, it's been good. I've just been, writing under all my 1,000 pen names that I have, and also, organizing a lot of these different promos and just trying. I think as the industry is changing and as the publishing market is changing, there's a real opportunity to kind of slide in and find new creative ways that you can reach readers. So that's what I've been focusing on a lot.
That's awesome. And so I don't think you had your direct sales site up at that point, did you? So that wasn't, no. So that's something we definitely can talk about. Your adventures in direct sales. I'm excited. But first,
it's always an adventure.
Yeah. But first,
Yes.
this was something we got from you last time was you've got this background in sales, right? Like, so you were doing that for a long time and you understood sales and and I think a lot of authors don't have a background in sales, and we are, especially indie authors, and we're jumping in because we want to write, not because we know how on earth to sell things. So, and that was something we really got from you, this kind of, and we called you the visible author because you were so good at getting yourself out there and getting everything done. So can you maybe riff off that a little bit? Like what is it that we need to be doing as authors, and how have you managed to do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. So yeah, I think that's how I was successful in sales as well, is I always considered myself a law of averages salesperson. And it worked really well for me because I was always like the number one rep, and people would say, how do you do that? And I would say, it's just that I get myself in front of people in a ton of different ways that maybe other people don't think of. And the more people you see, the more people are going to buy your stuff. Like that's just the law of averages. It's like such a basic marketing concept. But yeah, I think with authors, and like you were saying before, we were chatting before we came on the podcast, is that a lot of times authors, they're not, they don't have a marketing background or a sales background. And a lot of times I think they don't want to bother their readers, right? So they're like, okay, I posted about the sale one time. It's a 99-cent book club, and I'm okay, great. And then that's it. It's, it's done, and you posted about it, and then you're wondering why maybe you got a couple of sales and then you haven't gotten any more sales in a week or something like that. And it's just that, yeah, like readers are just like anyone else in that they have to see things, over and over, like we all have to see. And also every reader is different. So I might respond to something visual, like a Facebook ad, and another reader might respond to something that is like an audio clip. So like that's an audio clip that you put on TikTok or something that people can see. So there are all different ways that you have to be visible and different creative ways you have to reach people. And if you think you're posting too much about your books, you're not. There, like it's impossible.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And I think that's the
So,
thing that we all
yeah.
think. Like we go, even if we've posted 3 times in a week on Facebook, they go, "Oh, that's done. Everyone's seen it. I'm finished now." Whereas one of the things I remember from last time you were talking about, like, for example, going into, you had a monthly schedule of all the things,
Yes.
all the little things that you do. Can you talk about that? Like, where did that come
Sure.
from? And
Yes. So I have a monthly schedule of things I try to do every month, and it's marketing takes up a lot of time, so it's hard. But yes, so my monthly Facebook posts. So I have 3 active pen names that I write under. I have Rebecca Hefner. Ayla Asher is my contemporary romance pen name, and then I have an erotic romance pen name that shall remain nameless. But that little pen name chugs along, so people love the smut. We've all figured out. So I have 3 different pen names that
Wow.
I do daily posts for. And I don't do that every day, but what I do is in the beginning of each month, I sit down, I have graphics for the month. So I have square graphics for each book under each pen name. And those are just still graphics that I schedule in Meta Business Suite. And I schedule one every day. And then I have reels that I make some of my reels myself. And then I also hired a PA to help me because, like, again, there's only so much time in the day. So I found a PA that was really good and had experience. And, you can find, there are these different groups you can find PAs in, and she's very reasonable. And I asked her to send me some of her other authors that she works with and some examples, and it worked well with my style. And so then I also post in Meta Business Suite for each author name, one reel every other day. So that's what I post at the beginning of the month. So my content for the month just on Facebook and Instagram, I use the Meta Business Suite, so it posts to both Facebook and Instagram. So just with that, that's one, my followers on both of those platforms are seeing at least something from me every single day. So that's one thing I do. And then of course, anytime I have a sale, or anytime I have anything like a new audiobook that came out or whatever, even, you can just make up stuff like, oh, I have this excerpt that I think is really cool. I want to, then I send it out so I obviously have a newsletter for each author name. I also just started a Substack for Rebecca Hefner because I see huge growth in Substack, and I run some Substacks for some of the promos I do, and the growth potential is huge on there. So about once a week, sometimes twice a week, I try to just send out something to each of my newsletters. Again, it could be a new audio release, it could be a book that I have on sale, it could just be an excerpt from an audiobook. But just something where I'm touching them so they remember me and I can link them back to my direct store or wherever I want to link them to. So the Facebook and the Instagram posting, the Substack and the newsletters. And then I'm on Threads now. Everyone's on Threads. I find that one difficult because I don't know how to schedule there yet. They don't have that option yet. I think they're going to have it next year. And then TikTok. I opened a TikTok shop. I found that was the only way I can get consistent views there. I wasn't dying to open a TikTok shop, but I find that videos I make that are connected to my products get like 4 times the views of any other videos I made. So it just didn't make sense for me to make any videos that weren't about my products because no one saw them. So I opened a TikTok shop, and now I make at least 1 TikTok video a day. I try to make 2. And I alternate them between videos with my face and videos with my, just like a reel or something that like does, showcases my book. And then I have excerpt TikTok accounts separately for all 3 author names that are just ones that I post excerpts from books on. So 4 TikTok accounts in total.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. So just
a
going
lot.
back quickly, so just to clarify for anybody outside the US, we can't do TikTok Shop yet, unfortunately.
Ah,
But
okay.
I just wonder if you could just go back and just, so Substack is something, I mean, I know it's been around for a while, but could you just talk about the difference between how you approach Substack to your newsletter? Is it the same? Is it, yeah, just a quick overview on Substack.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's so Substack is so interesting. I knew nothing about it, but I knew that it was free. So the way I actually learned about Substack is when I started the Romance Audiobook Worms Substack, which is the Stuff Your Earbuds Substack, and we'll talk about that promo. But I organize the Stuff Your Earbuds promos, which is the equivalent to Stuff Your e-reader that Zoe York runs, right? So she runs the ebook one and I run the audiobook one. And I needed to capture something to like capture those people who came to the site and wanted to hear about updates. So I was like, oh, I'll just start a Substack for Stuff Your Earbuds because it's free. And I don't know anything about it, but I know that I can like send out a newsletter if I need to and like say, hey, our next Stuff Your Earbuds is November 14th or whatever. And I started it and we started getting some people, signing up because we have a lot of traffic on the site. And then I found a couple of other authors on there and I was like, hey, do you want to just like, you recommend my Substack, I'll recommend yours. So like I found the person who runs like the dark mode books, Stuff Your Kindle, and she recommended Stuff Your Earbuds and I recommended hers. And all of a sudden I woke up one morning and we had 60,000 subscribers. And I was like, holy freaking cow. Like,
Wow.
what is going on with this Substack platform? Like the growth is amazing. Like like my mind was blown. And they're engaged subscribers. Like I can see the open rates, I can see what they click on, and I'm like, holy crap. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to try and replicate this with my Indie Audiobook Deals newsletter because I run Indie Audiobook Deals. And I had been running that newsletter through MailerLite. I had like 3,500 subscribers. When I switched to Substack and did some cross promotion, I cross promoted it with Stuff Your Earbuds and with some of the other authors. We now have 42,000 subscribers under Indie Audiobook Deals on Substack.
Wow.
So I cut off the MailerLite.
Moly.
Crazy. So I cut off the
So
MailerLite and I was like, okay, this is amazing. So seeing that success with those two, I was like, the organic growth on this platform is insane. And I would be an idiot if I didn't create one for my author name. Like, this is so stupid. Like, I have to do this. So I literally just created it like 2 weeks ago because I'm busy and I do 4,000 things. And I was just like, I need to sit down and do this. So what I'm sharing on my Substack is different because Substack is like it sends out like a newsletter, but it's more of like a visual, it's almost like a podcast or like it's so hard. It's like everything rolled into one. It's like a podcast and a blog and a newsletter and a whatever. So it's really cool because I can embed like video clips and all sorts of graphics and stuff that I want to embed. And they're going to send it out to everyone who's ever searched on the platform the words author or romance or novel or whatever. So I'm going to get that organic reach. So I'm trying to like send out stuff that I think will interest people that I know they're going to show it to. So yeah, like video, like audiobook clips, graphics. I'm sending some people to my YouTube channel. Like, check this out on YouTube. I uploaded a full audiobook there, and then I'm sending them to YouTube. Like, so anyway, so Substack is just, I'm still like not an expert, but the organic growth, I think it's the next big thing for authors as far as like newsletters and reaching people, because the organic growth there is crazy.
So do you notice a difference? Like if you had 3,500 via MailerLite, and then now you've got 42,000 for the Stuff Your Earbuds. Do you are they active, engaged subscribers who you are? Like, did you notice a big jump in the number of people who are using and going to that? Yeah.
It has revolutionized our promos, like revolutionized the Indie Audiobook Deals promos, like to the point where I have authors who are like, like I'm not even charging authors for it. I use, I use affiliate links to help cover the site costs and stuff when I create these promos. But I've had authors email me like, I got 500 downloads from the last, newsletter you sent out. So, and then they went, I had like that increased my audiobook sales on the whole series. And like, I'd be willing to pay for this, which I
Yeah.
eventually probably will charge for. But anyway, the point is that, like, yes, I can see who's clicking. I'm sending everyone just to the Indie Audiobook Deals site. So like I send out the newsletter, I send it out on every other Thursday morning. And by the time like 5 days has passed, now remember, Substack keeps showing stuff to people and they keep sending out, anyone who has a Substack account, they'll send out like a summary of things that got a lot of hits that week. So I see like surges come through on the visitors throughout the week and the 2 weeks. But yeah, on our I remember the September 5th one I posted in the Marketing and Audiobooks Wide group, we had almost 1,000 clicks on the site, which is great, I think, like 1,000 people went to the website and browsed all of the audiobooks we had for sale. So like, who wouldn't want 1,000 eyes on their wide audiobook? I do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Gosh.
That's cool. Thank you for that, because I haven't really used Substack a huge amount.
I just always, I mean, it's the old, what did they say about never assume about making an ass of myself? So I'm going to make an ass of myself and admit that Substack, I always just thought it was kind of nonfiction or, it never occurred to me for fiction. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I had no idea. Yeah.
Cheryl, you've got your sound off because we can't hear you.
Sorry, the dog was barking. I had to turn it off. I was just saying that for me, Substack was put in the pile with like Discord and things like that I dabble in, but it's like, really, that's just,
Yeah.
But
So
you've intrigued me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, had I not seen the huge explosion in growth with the other two, I would not have even bothered. But the fact that I just saw it with my own eyes and I was like, okay, this is like at this point. So, and I see more authors getting on there. Like I can see, because I'm fed a lot of author stuff because that's all I do on there. And I do think we're going to see a big explosion because people are having success with it. So,
Oh,
so just going back to a practical, just a quick practical question. So with the scheduling for the 3 pen names, which my mind is already exploding with what you're producing, do you, I'm guessing, do you work to a schedule yourself? Do you have like Monday morning as marketing, or how do you kind of keep your head around it?
So I usually do it on the 1st of the month, or the first weekday of the month. So if it's if the first falls on a Saturday, I'll do it on the 3rd or something. But I try to stick to doing all of that scheduling. Now, the thing with Facebook is you can only schedule so many posts before they think you're a bot. So I schedule so many that I usually get cut off. So I'm at the point now where I have to break it up into 2 days. So I'll do it for as long, it does take me a full day or else 2 half days. So I do have to dedicate time to that. So I'll do it until Facebook cuts me off and thinks I'm a bot. And then I have to go back 24 hours later and do the rest.
Yeah.
But the way I do it is I have all of these I have a person who makes the graphics for me. I wouldn't mind making them, but I'm terrible at making graphics. So I hire someone to do that, and do like the Square Instagram graphics. And I have a Word document that has all of the text. So I just copy and I use the same text in every monthly post. And all it is it's the name of the book, the link where you can buy it, and the tropes. So it's like, alpha hero, cinnamon roll, whatever, badass heroine with like the little emojis beside it, steamy romance with the little fire beside, and then the hashtags at the bottom. So, hashtag steamy romance, hashtag spicy books, whatever. And I just copy and paste, and I use the same text under but then I rotate the graphics. So
let's quickly talk about that. Can I just, because I think a lot of people would be afraid to do that. And we've had people on the podcast before, like I think Brighton Walsh was another one who, she's reusing exactly the same text, but she'll change the picture out. She'll do something different. She'll different music, but she's making everything over and over. And a lot of us would be going, oh, but people would have already seen it. But no, they haven't, right? Like it's about, tell us what's happening.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So 2 things about that. Number 1, they might not have seen it if you only posted it once. So that's the first thing. And number two, it's what they want to see. So what everyone wants to see is the tropes, right? So if you change up the text to something just to make it different, and then it's something not as compelling that people don't want to see, then you've kind of shot yourself in the foot, right? So the thing about posting this stuff is that it's what people want to see is very simple. They want to see, is it the type of genre of book I like? Does it look like something that I would read? What are the tropes? Where can I find it? And that's it. And so it's okay to use the same things over because they're simple. Like I always tell people, just like make things simple. So like they're simple, and like that's what people want to see. Like imagine when you're looking for a book, what do you want to know? Is it a type of book that I would read? Is it something I think I would like? What are the tropes? Okay, like where can I find it? Oh, here's the link. Okay, perfect. That's it. So yeah.
So you're not putting in an excerpt at all?
No.
No. Okay.
Now there are little excerpts of my graphics, right? So so when I send them to my graphics lady, I write out the excerpts that I want her to put. They're not excerpts really, they're like quotes. They're like so like the one that posted yesterday, I'll just say is for one with a very strong heroine who swears she's not going to fall in love. So like the quote that I gave her for my graphics person to make is, "I'll have my fun with him, but I won't fall in love." And then there's like a sexy picture. So so when you see the graphic, you know what it's about. It's about this badass woman who, it's a love story because she swears she's not gonna fall in love. And then you scroll down and you see, here are the tropes. And then you see, oh, here's the link. Click on that and see see if I want to read it. And then they're taken to wherever you want to send them. So
yeah, that's cool. The other thing that I want to mention there as well is that things hit differently on different days. I don't know about you guys, but like I'm like, one day I'm really in a mood for, I'm happy and I'm trotting along and I see something and go, oh, that's fantastic, or I go, not today, not today. I don't really want to read about the kick-ass heroine who doesn't want to fall in love. And then but a week later I might see exactly the same thing and go, oh, I saw that last week, and maybe I'll just have a quick, just because I saw it once doesn't mean that I'm not going to be interested in seeing it again or being reminded of it. So yeah, I just think we need to get ourselves out of that mindset of one and done, show it once and then that's it.
It's like when you see, maybe it's just me, but sometimes if you're not hungry and you see food things on Instagram or whatever, they sort of don't mean anything. But if you're hungry, every single post you see, you just it makes you more hungry.
And even sometimes, like some days, the sweet stuff is going to appeal, and other days you're like, oh no, I want the salty stuff. Like it doesn't, or whatever. Yeah. So I think that's cool. I think that's something we need to really remember, is that it's first of all, get your stuff far, everywhere that you can possibly get it, and do as many things as you possibly can manage to fit into your day without going mental. But also repeat. Right? Like, don't be afraid to do it again and again, and keep it simple, like you said.
Don't be afraid to make your life easier, because we're all so busy and there's only so much that we can do in a day. And just remember how many books are out there, and just put yourself in the reader's shoes. Like if you saw if you saw one of my Instagram posts from 2 weeks ago, would you say to yourself, it's the same post that Rebecca, you probably wouldn't even remember. Like we see so many posts as we're scrolling through. There are so many books on Amazon. So like, I think we as authors, we get in our heads about that, which totally makes sense, right? Because we're thinking like, oh, we need to offer fresh content. But if you look at like something that I love to study is the most successful authors on TikTok. And let me tell you that the most successful authors on TikTok are the authors who use this same 2 excerpts from their books over and over. They just put a different background on the reel, and I follow them, and I'm mesmerized by it. It's like book 1 excerpt, book 2 excerpt, book 1 excerpt, book 2. It's just the same video. They maybe switch up one word, and just switch up the background, and they're killing it.
Yeah, it's good to know that, It's good to know that it's not always about reinventing the wheel every second of the day, or trying to be really clever all the time. It's just actually, and I think we kind of know the branding of an author. Like I kind of know what certain authors, not what they physically look like, but what their colors are and that kind of thing. And you kind of almost want that, right? Like you want readers to automatically go, oh, I know that's a KF Breen book for me, or what, like I know
Right.
straight away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing when we're repeating it
Exactly.
over and over again. We're not being boring,
Yes.
damn it.
Right. It's not boring. It might be boring to you. Like, I mean, like, listen, posting these things is boring to me, but like, you know, it's not boring to the people that I'm sending it out to because they have so many things flooding their feed. I'm just one little baby thing of all the things they're going to see in their feed today. So,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
also, can we just say, just getting back to the author attitude sort of thing, how good it feels when you look in your meta suite on Facebook and you see all those scheduled posts out for a month ahead. That's a good feeling. That's a breath
yes,
of sigh of relief.
so nice. Yeah, it's so nice to know that you can do other stuff. Like it's all done now. Yeah,
Yeah.
those days, like the first of the month is like, I'm always like, oh, but then like once it's done, it's like, oh yeah, you're good for the month.
And,
So
and,
it's
and
a,
if
it is a
something
nice
crops
feeling.
up, you don't have to worry about it, I mean, life gets in the way, but it's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, of course, I add things in. So like as I have cool things happen or whatever, like if I take a walk by the river and I make a video on TikTok, I'll cross post that. So I'm putting in my own content in between the scheduled stuff. But it's just a way to know that I'm going to be touching my followers every single day at least once. Like they're always going to see something from me in their feed.
Yeah.
And do you go in and reply to comments and things like that, or
Yeah, I try to reply to all the comments. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, unless they're whatever, like
Yeah.
where can I get it for free? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, delete.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Or I'm a prince from blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
you're so
right,
beautiful.
exactly. Right. Yeah, there are a lot of those on Facebook.
Yeah, can we be friends? Yeah, no.
Oh, that's awesome.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you want to mention on that? Like any other, like I think maybe it's one of those things where it's so innate to you that you don't even see how amazing it is that you do the things you do. But is there any other thoughts on Visible, how to get yourself out there, or is it is it as easy as that?
I mean, I think just remember, I think from the author, like, so if an author is listening to this and they're, like saying like, oh, I don't want to, bother people, or I don't want to post too much. I think, I think you just have to take a step back and take off your author hat and put on your social media scrolling person hat. And just remember that it's not, you're never posting too much. That's why we have these accounts, that's why we have author accounts and social media accounts. And to make your life easy, and to remember that it's okay to post the same things because people want to see the same things. They want to, making the decision to buy something is very simple. It's, do I like this? Will it be something that will bring me joy? Is it something that I can easily get? Great, I'll buy it. Like, that's it, so it doesn't have to be like, so if you're an author listening to this and you're like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming, marketing is so overwhelming, make it easy on yourself. Like, write out all your posts, hire someone to do graphics. You can find people in PA groups that'll do graphics for super cheap. Like, make life easy on yourself and just like make it more systematic and just treat it like that. Like it's okay to leave your creativity for your books, right? The marketing can be a system, it can be systematic, and that's okay.
Yeah. Do you use hashtags as well, or do you just rely on them? Yeah.
So every post, I have a post that I have written out for every book, which, for under my 3 pen names, that's like over 40 books. So, I use different hashtags. I've already populated that in my text that I have that I use every month.
Yeah.
So I always use like spicy books, spicy reads, steamy book recs, and then I'll use a specific one to that book that I'll have populated in, like Grumpy Sunshine, if it's for that book, or Second Chance Romance, or what Small Town Romance, whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
That makes sense.
Love it.
Perfect. All right, so let's talk a little bit about well, let's start with wide audio. So some of the things that you've been doing, obviously you've since last time, like we don't probably need to go in depth on it like we did with the last podcast, but just anything new, anything that people need to be thinking about.
Yeah, so I think for wide audio, I think, that's still kind of like my little baby. Like I'm trying to systematically take away Audible's market share one day at a time. And I need to teach everybody else how to be successful at it if I want to do that.
You
It
need a
can't just be
t-shirt with
like,
that on, Rebecca, taking away Audible's market share one day at a
Listen.
time.
I'm on it. I'm a woman on a mission at this point. Yeah, I do want to say, so our reach has really grown since with the
Awesome.
Substack. And I also do the same posting rotation for indie audiobook deals on Facebook and Instagram that I do for my books.
Yeah.
So every author who submits an audiobook and is featured in that 2-week promo period gets a dedicated post for their book on Facebook and on Instagram. They obviously get sent out on our Substack. And so, yeah, my goal is to I think the one thing that I always hear still, which I feel like I talk about this all the time, but see, this is what I'm saying. I feel like I talk about indie audiobook deals all the time. And I still hear authors say all the time, I wish there was a place where I could promote my wide audiobook, like free Booksy, but for wide audiobooks. And I'm like, am I here? Like, what is about this? I talk about this all the time. But for anyone who doesn't know, there is a newsletter / awesome service that exists that is like free Booksy or Fussy Librarian, but for wide audiobooks. And it's called Indie Audiobook Deals. And I organize it. And it's amazing. And it gets your wide audiobook sale in front of tons of people. We have 42,000 Substack subscribers. So anyway, so yeah, so that's Indie Audiobook Deals. It's really, really grown, and we have really great reach now. We also have a YouTube channel. And so some of the other opportunities I've been offering is I've created new marketing opportunities. So not only do we have the Indie Audiobook Deals promos, which is like a free Booksy Fussy Librarian where you put one of your wide audiobooks on sale or free, and you promo it that way for 2 weeks. But I also have created other opportunities. For example, authors can upload a audio sample from one of their wide audiobooks, and I feature it on the Indie Audiobook Deals YouTube channel. So I post it on the YouTube channel for Indie Audiobook Deals, and then I also blast it out in the Substack. So that's 42,000 people who are being sent your audio sample.
And you do all
and I
this
direct
for
them to watch.
free? Can I just ask?
I do all this for free right now. Because again,
Rebecca,
I can't take down Audible
stop that.
by myself.
Charge money. I'm sorry to all the authors out there who want this to be free forever, but that's a lot of work. Like, what are you doing?
It is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot of work. I do use affiliate links. So, that's how I cover the cost. It's not like a ton of money, but like it's enough for me to cover the cost of like the website and stuff like that, different things like that. Do you think I'll eventually charge for it? Because I do think it's a very valuable service, but it's really only started. I didn't want to start charging for it until I knew it had value and I knew that it was going to be worth it for the authors. And so I've spent basically almost 2 years building it. And it was a slow build in the beginning. So like the authors who signed up for a promo in the beginning probably didn't see a lot of return. They maybe saw a little bit. I think authors now are seeing a ton of return from it. So yeah, I think if that keeps growing and compounding, then as we go into 2025, I will probably start charging for it. But, I'm someone who, again, I want to make sure the results are there. And I also really understand that we cannot take down these retailers and decrease their market share unless we all are successful. So like, to me, it's almost like, let's just get it out there and then I can worry about charging later. Like, let me just get more authors comfortable with going wide, learning that, like, proving to themselves that they can sell audiobooks wide and being confident with that. And then I could do all this stuff down the road. But my main goal is to make every author comfortable. It breaks my heart when people still say to me, I never make any money on wide audio. I'm going to go back to Audible exclusive. I'm like, please don't. I promise you can make money because it's the biggest part of my business. I make the most revenue from audiobooks, and it's so if I can do it, anyone can do it. So I just want to teach people how to do it.
That's so amazing.
Help.
It really is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Awesome. All right, well, maybe let's move on to direct sales, so I'm aware of time ticking by. So you went direct last year, I'm guessing? No?
Yes. So I think as I was doing the podcast with you all last year, I was building a Payhip store at that point for Rebecca. That lasted about a month, and then I ended up building a Shopify store. Like I said, things change so quickly.
Mm.
But so I have two stores. So for Rebecca and Ayla, I have a Shopify store. I have both books under both author names under on my Shopify store. And then I also have a Payhip store for my erotic romance pen name. So I'm very familiar with multiple platforms. I have two direct stores now. And I just kind of figured that if I was going to do it, I might as well just do it and just like dive in and just really figure it out. And I mean, boy, was it a learning curve.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm glad you said that, Rebecca. It makes you human.
Yes. So yes, for all the authors out there, for you all and for anyone listening, it's like, it's okay to struggle with direct sales. It's something different. It's something that we've never done before. I was on the struggle bus for a long time with it, and I just kept trying and figuring it out. And I kept making notes as to like what I failed at so that I wouldn't fail at it next time. And I had never really done sales Facebook ads before. I had only done traffic Facebook ads, like traffic to Amazon, traffic to Chirp, right? So that was a whole learning curve. And I'll be honest that I like literally really only started having ads that performed to what I consider like successful levels, like about 2 months ago. Like that's how long it took me to figure out Facebook ads. And you have to run Facebook ads if you're direct. I think personally, I think you have to do it. So anyway,
So can you
so
break
it's been
it
a
down?
beast.
Sorry, can I just
Sure.
start back at the
Yeah.
so have you got a few examples of some of the things that where you got stuck and maybe kind of how you managed to claw your way out of it?
Yes.
Sorry
Absolutely.
for the
I'll talk about that all day.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so when I first started, the one thing I didn't realize was how much content you have to make and test for so first of all, you have to make and test content for Facebook ads, right? You have to do that constantly. But also I had to make all of these graphics for my stores. So I'm selling ebooks, audiobooks, I sell signed paperbacks, and then I'm also selling book bundles. So I'm selling an ebook bundle and I'm selling audiobook bundles and like and each one of these requires a graphic. So, I had to spend like days making a paperback graphic, ebook graphic, audiobook graphic of each book, and then uploading it to the site. And, so like, it's like those little things I didn't understand were going to take me so long. And then of course you have to build out the store. Now, you guys might have heard of Cameron Snow. He's kind of making like a name for himself. His like authors direct selling or something. I followed his Shopify course to build my store, and I found it very, very helpful. So if anyone's looking to build a Shopify store, I would 100% recommend it. I used it to build my Shopify store. I'm not tech savvy, so but building out my Shopify store probably took me a month. Like I'm not tech savvy, so following his course and doing everything, it took me about a month. My Payhip store for my other pen name is so much easier. It's such an easier store, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. But that store chugs along. I run Facebook ads to that store too, and it chugs along. So if you don't want to use Shopify, I'm just here to tell you, you can also be successful with Payhip or something else. Like there's kind of a belief in the author world that you have to use Shopify. And I'm successful on Shopify. My store does great, but my Payhip store does great too. So like do what you want to do. What else? So building out the store, making the graphics, and then like realizing all the content I was going to have to come up with to pull the right excerpts from my book in order to get people interested for like Facebook ads, or even just excerpts that I would put on TikTok to direct people back to my Shopify store. Finding the right price points for my bundles and not bundling too many books and charging too little, like trying to figure out what that right. So like that was a lot of testing.
Yeah.
trying to figure out like how I wanted to do upsales. So I tested a lot of different upsells, like book bundle 1 to ebook bundle 2, or would it be better for me to do ebook bundle 1 to the audiobook bundle? And then, so like they're buying Whisper Sync. So I tested a lot of that. So it just was a lot of, and it's still constantly testing. But anyway, those were some of the roadblocks that I like didn't, and then the whole other thing was that I had to figure out shipping. Like I literally am now running a shipping. You can see behind, I have like my, these are like my packing envelopes. Like I'm like running a shipping business out of my house because I do signed books. So I had to figure out like what size boxes do I need? And like, it's just a lot.
Do you still,
Yeah.
on your direct store, are you still doing better with the audio than the ebooks, for example? Or is it different?
So like, so I'm selling all formats. Is that what you're asking? Like,
I just mean, like you said earlier, that you make most of your money from your audiobooks rather than, say, for example, paperbacks or ebooks. And so I'm just curious, is that a focus that you put on your direct store as well, or is it?
yeah, I mean, so the way I built out my Shopify sales page is that I have different buttons that they can click on so I run everything to bundles. I have a Rebecca bundle and an Ayla bundle, and they can click on, I run everything to the ebook bundle, but then they can click on audiobook for audiobook bundle, or signed paperback, or signed special edition paperbacks. So that's been really cool because so my audiobook bundles obviously cost more. So I do sell a fair amount of audiobook bundles on my store. So I would say that's probably, well, no, my signed book bundles are like the highest profit, right? Because like they're like $180 for a signed book bundle because they're physical books, but also I have to spend more to get those in, right? So I think I charge $49.99 for my audiobook bundles, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm getting $50 a pop if people are ordering my audiobook bundles. So yeah, the audiobook bundles do well. I think people, especially binge listeners, they are more apt to buy an audiobook bundle. So I highly suggest, obviously, if you're going to run ads to a bundle, don't run it to a solo book, because then your margins are so low. So that's what I've been doing.
And then do you, like, you've got your audio, for example, on all the other sites as well. Are you pricing it slightly lower on your direct sales than, say, on other sites? Yeah.
I price everything lower on my direct store. And so my ebooks, most of my ebooks are like $3.99 or $4.99. So on my store, they're $3.79 or $4.79, right? So, and then I created universal links for every single, so my store is RebeccaHefnerBooks.com. My website is RebeccaHefner.com. So I had my web developer create a link for each of my books that has ebook, audio, and signed or paperback. And so then I can put in the first button under, so those are the universal links that I use. Those are the only links I send people to now. If I'm doing like a Facebook post, right? Like my scheduled posting, they'll go to the book on my Rebecca Hefner site and they'll see options of buy direct and save, Amazon, Kobo, whatever. So that's how I'm getting a lot of people to my store that way, is that I'm offering the universal link and then I'm charging less on my store. So yeah, if I charge like $12.99 for an audiobook on Kobo or Apple or wherever, then I'm usually charging $11.99 on my store. So I'm always just trying to give them a little bit of a incentive to buy from me directly.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting, because the courses that I've done suggest that you shouldn't actually undersell on your store, because you can't actually compete with Amazon or the other platforms. So that is an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to always get differing advice. And for me, the whole point for my readers is that if you buy from me directly, I don't have to pay the retailers a royalty, so you get that saving. That's my message to my reader.
Makes
so
sense to me.
Yeah. So my message to my reader or listener is you'll always get it cheaper if you buy it from me, because I don't have to give a cut to somebody else. Now I understand that other that makes sense too, that other people might charge more on your store because it's different, it's a different platform than a retail site or something like that. But that's just my own personal, what's worked for me.
Yeah. Oh, you're not the first person that I've heard say it, but I just wondered what the, how your take on it was. Yeah.
I also like the idea of having your website sort of almost separate from the Shopify, because that's one thing that's always confused me about making just the Shopify your one home, if you like, on the internet, because it's two separate markets in a way. That's how I see it anyway. It's two separate buying groups, and by having all your eggs in the Shopify basket, you're actually not meeting the needs for quite a big basket of readers.
I mean, you're right. There are some people who are just never going to buy anywhere else but Amazon. So you definitely want to capture those people. So so using universal links is super, in my opinion, is super important. And being able to, for my Victorious, that's my romance name.
Okay, you just we didn't hear the surname, it's fine.
But for that store, I actually only have the store as a website, but I created universal links through BookFunnel. And the same thing that I do is like the first button is buy direct and save. And then it goes to all the other, then you can choose to go to all the other retailers. But I mean, I do think, as much as I want everyone to buy direct, I think your point is definitely well made, that like there are just some people who are just only going to buy on Amazon, or they're not going to buy.
But I also get that you're effectively then kind of maintaining two sites for the one.
It is another cost, isn't it?
So it's all it's just like with everything in self-publishing, you've got to do what works for you, and you can't meet all the demands all the time for everybody.
And can I just clarify that on your store, you don't actually have any links that would point back to Amazon, do you? Like if you don't want to get it from here, no. That to me is
right.
Yeah.
So like once you're captured you there,
this is it.
You're mine.
You're in the net.
You're in there. You're not going to go. So are there any things that you've got going on your Shopify store front that are things that you've learned over time, best practice, anything like that people could take away?
Yes, there are. And I would love to share them because they work very well. Okay. So some things that have worked well is, number one, there is a variant app that I really like, and that allows me to put the different variants, like ebook. Now you can build out variants in Shopify, but it's too wonky and it doesn't work in the actual program very well. So if you use this app, and I don't want to give you the wrong name, so I'm going to email you the app afterward, the correct name, so you guys can put it. Yes. It's something like King Links or something, but there's a couple named that. So let me email you the right one. Anyway, that has been immensely helpful because, like I said, offering different options of ebook, audiobook, paperback, whatever, has been great and has really increased my margins, like amazing. So highly recommend that. There's another app called Selleasy, which is an upsell app. Highly recommend that. So I took the time, this took me a couple of days. Every single product I have on my store has an automatic upsell. So when someone adds something to the cart, they then, once they go to cart, a window pops up, and this is generated in the Selleasy app. And I offer a discount, whether it's 20%, 25%, whatever. So on my ebooks or ebook bundle, I offer that, they put that in the cart. They go to cart and the window pops up and it says, you have 5 minutes. Do you love to binge read and binge listen? Then you can get the audiobook bundle for 25% off. And that has also increased my margins because the vast majority of people like to read and listen, right? So, or if they buy the paperback bundle, then I upsell them to another signed paperback bundle. And that has worked like gangbusters. So I have a big bundle for my Romantasy series, which is 13 books. So if they buy that, then I upsell them to one of my other trilogies. And I mean, I have like a 75% conversion rate on that where they buy the
Oh,
trailer from us.
wow.
So
Oh,
amazing.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah. So, because I feel like at that point they're like, oh my God, I just bought this for $180. Like I might as well just buy the trilogy for $50.
Yeah,
exactly,
Buying
yeah.
that, right? Yeah.
But we've all done that, right?
So,
In the actual
yeah,
real shops.
yeah,
Haven't we all done that?
yeah,
When you're standing in
yeah.
the line to pay for something and you see on the side there, oh, I'll put that up as well because I've already blown my budget.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's also worked well for the Stuff Your Earbuds promos. So when I offer a free audiobook on my store for Stuff Your Earbuds, I set up an upsell and I upsell people to my bundle. So they're all
Nice.
coming to my site to download this free book. Nobody is planning on coming to the site to spend any money, right? It's a free promo
Yeah.
for listeners. But they come to the site, they add the free book, and you get this pop-up. Do you love to binge listen? And for Stuff Your Earbuds, I give a 40% discount because I know they're free, you know, they're looking for a freebie, they're not looking to spend any money. So for 40%, you can get my whole audiobook bundle right now. And the conversion on that is obviously not as high as like a excited buyer. But I've probably made like anywhere between like $300 to $500 on each Romance Audiobook Worms promo, Stuff Your Earbuds promo from just that upsell, which like is pretty good for people coming
That's
to your site
fantastic.
just to download
so
something
good.
for free.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I
Absolutely.
ask
You know?
a question about discounts? Is there, in your mind anyway, a perfect amount for each type of, whether it's an ebook or an audio, or, what converts best for you? What percentage off?
That's a really good question. I've played around with so many
Yeah.
discounts and like I don't know if I can answer. I don't know. I've done 20%, 25%, 35%, and 40%. So I've done the gamut. I will say they all convert to my knowledge, and I haven't really analyzed this super, so like this is just like off the top of my head, but to my knowledge, they all kind of convert the same. So like I think what I used to offer 40% a lot more often. And then I started being like, am I cheating myself out of money here? Like, let me try 20% and see what if, and it had basically the same conversion rate, like maybe a tiny bit less, but nothing crazy. And I was like, okay, let's just do 20% then.
Yeah.
Like because I think it's more about the fact that they're getting a deal. I don't think they really care what the percentage is what I figured out.
Absolutely.
But that took some testing. Yeah.
I think anything to most people, anything like 20% or more is so enticing.
Right.
Totally.
10% doesn't quite do it, does it? Or 15, but 20,
No, I
that's
think
significant.
as long as it's got a 2 in front of it, to me, that's people can kind of calculate that out. But I would agree. I think anything, I can see that there would be negligible difference between those once you're above the 20.
And it makes so much difference
and
to
that's
us,
right. There were.
Then you get to keep an extra 20% instead of doing the 40% off. And I kind of feel like it works. It's like how, when people say, oh, I don't want to raise my prices, it's and then they do, and it's like zero difference in sales. People haven't really even noticed, and it means so much more to us. But people, so that's cool. That's good. Testing is always good. I guess is what we've got to come out of that.
You have to.
Yeah.
And but go ahead.
No, you go.
So that was the Selleasy app. Sorry,
Selleasy. That's that one. I know the name of. So that's Selleasy. And then there's another one. There's one more that is super helpful called God, why can I not remember anything today?
That's okay.
It's called I'll send it to you guys.
It's fine.
Oh my God, I can't remember. But anyway, it shows up at the bottom, and it's kind of like it's like the also bots on frequently bought together. That's what it's called.
Frequently bought together. I should know that because I have that.
Right. So that has also worked really well. That so I go in and I manually set up. Otherwise, Shopify will just show them some like random books. So I went in and I set that up for all of my products. Yeah. And that has converted well too.
Yeah.
Nice. So those three apps for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Nice. And do you have the review app as well?
Oh yes, I use Ally Reviews, but they recently changed their name, and I can't remember what they changed it to, but I'll send that to you guys also. Do you use a different one? I know there's a lot of them out there. That one was recommended by Cameron.
I don't know what I've got actually. I'm having trouble with it. That's why I asked.
Yeah. I think I think those review apps are all similar. So yeah. I don't know if that like I have some products that I just don't even put reviews on. Like I know people say you should have them. I have them on everything I run ads to. But like some new products that I create, I'm just like, I can't be bothered with this right now.
Yeah.
I have too much other crap to do. I mean, I'll get there eventually, but like that's the other thing I think you have to remember is like you can't do everything in one day. So you have to just
And I think it makes sense to have it on the ones that you're running ads to, because those are the ones that are gonna be, but you know, I don't know. I mean, yes, you want maybe if you're a newer author, maybe the reviews are especially helpful, but I genuinely think most people are fairly skeptical about reviews these days, so I'm not sure that would be the top of my priority list, honestly. Yeah,
maybe. Although I don't know.
It looks good though.
Yeah,
it does.
It does look good. It does look good. Yes.
Yeah, it does look good. I'm just thinking of, you know, I think you want to treat this, personally, this is my opinion, that you want to treat a direct author store the same as you would any other online retailer that you're used to, that you're buying from in terms of a specialty product. I'm thinking, like, I'm a gardener, so I'm thinking of, like, for example, dahlia tuber sites that I might visit. I know what I want. That's what I want. You know, I'm not sure that having reviews about how they flowered,
But I was just looking for a fridge freezer, and I did check out the reviews.
That's true.
So
but
I think
different price point as well, though. I think it's a price point thing as well. There's
I also think it's different people, because my husband will read every comment, check every review, go to multiple sites, compare the reviews, know exactly what each site has said about each different product. And whereas me, I'll go on and go, oh, that looks pretty, click. Just different people.
Different strokes for different folks.
That's right. Consumer behavior is a fascinating thing, is it not?
Yes, for sure.
So in terms of, I'm sorry. Just in terms of, now that you've got it set up, what would you say the proportion of your kind of working month, maybe? Like, do you schedule some time for tweaking Shopify, or is it kind of set and go now?
I wish, so I'm really good about scheduling like the Facebook posts, like scheduling time to do that stuff. Shopify, I'm not good at that, because what happens is that when I see something that needs to be fixed, I'm like, oh, I'll just do it now, because like I'm running ads to it. And I'm like, I'm gonna fix it. I wish I could say that I was more, that's just kind of how my personality is. Like especially if I know I'm spending money on ads and I'm running ads to something that I'm like, oh, this could be better. This could be better. I wouldn't be able to concentrate on any of my other projects if I didn't just fix it real fast.
Fair enough.
What about your newsletter on there? Because obviously we're treating that differently to any other newsletter you have. And you've got Substack too.
So, oh my God, like so many newsletters. Okay, so I have so many newsletters. I mean, it's so much. So I have Klaviyo connected to my Shopify store, which I mean, if you're going to have a Shopify store, you really should have Klaviyo. So do you have that as well?
Yes.
Yeah. There's Klaviyo for the newsletters.
Is that what it is? Yeah. And also SMS as well.
Yep. I haven't set up SMS yet. So I will say Klaviyo is like my least, like that's kind of like my redheaded stepchild. Like I haven't focused on it a lot. I will email that list when I have a sale or when I want to offer. Like I just released the final book in a trilogy like 2 weeks ago. So like I emailed my list and I was like, you can get, if you've waited to buy this and you want to buy the whole thing, you can get the ebook full trilogy or the signed full trilogy for 20% off. Here are the codes, and I got some nice return from that. Like I had several people purchase, but that's really it. Like I don't do a lot with that. I do a lot with like the flows when I run, like when I do the stuff your earbuds, the flows that I set up convert very highly. So I do focus on that when I know I'm running a lot of traffic to the store. So my follow-up flows are really good at converting. Other than that, I haven't done a lot with Klaviyo.
So we're talking engagement flows here, aren't we? So they sign up for this, and then a couple of days later they'll get another email. Oh, you bought this, blah blah blah. Would you like this? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So down the road, that's something I'll focus on, but I'm not. It's not something that I'm focusing on now. For my Payhip store, I have that connected to my MailerLite, which is the actual newsletter that I run for that pen name. So that's what I actually send out my regular newsletters
Right.
from, which is not how is on my Shopify. So on Shopify, I have Shopify, Klaviyo, and then I have a separate MailChimp newsletter just for Rebecca for my like 10,000 subscribers. And then now I have my Substack. So exhausted just talking about it. But
I'm exhausted listening.
what am I doing with my
When
life?
do you write? When are you writing? Are you
I
getting up
did
at
just
3
finish that
o'clock in the morning?
trilogy. Yeah. The fact that I finished that trilogy, I just want you guys to know, is like a miracle, by the way. Like, I cannot believe
I can
published
appreciate
this
that.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, forget it. And I've also published several books under my other pen names. Like, I don't know who is doing this and taking over my body and doing this. But anyway, someone's doing it.
Maybe you're sleep writing, Rebecca.
I was gonna
Maybe
say-
you're just like, when you're asleep, there's another part of you that's sleep writing.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Seriously.
Wouldn't it be cool if it just happened? You woke up in the morning and there you go.
Amazing. So I will say that my Payhip Mailer Lite, I have a lot of flows set up for that because I have a book funnel freebie and I have like 6 flows set up for that pen name.
Wow.
And boy, do they generate from the store. Like, so I highly suggest, if you're going to set up a Payhip store, I mean, that little store, I don't put any effort into that store. I run, I think right now I'm running $15 a day Facebook ads, and it's converting like crazy. It's killing it.
Wow.
And it's almost even better than my Shopify store, which I'm running like $100 a day ads on it. Like, what's going on? Like, let me add this upsell. Like, it's like, so, it's the Shopify store is doing fine, but like, again, it's sort of I need to take my own advice, like keep things simple and like just set up your flows and set up your ads and like leave them and go like do your other stuff, because it's like the universe is proving to me that like I don't have to make things so hard,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You did say that you started did you start with the Payhip and then you went over to Shopify? Okay.
Yeah. So I started with a Payhip for Rebecca and Ayla. And I figured due to my like lack of technical knowledge, Shopify I just found super hard to use. I still find super hard to use, to be honest. But after I spoke to Cameron, because I did like a consultation with him, he convinced me that like the pixel, there's like some sort of crack between like the Facebook pixel and Shopify.
Yeah.
And he's right. I mean, the conversions, when you get an ad that hits and your pixel is on point, like Shopify is, I mean, yeah, I've had some really good days on there. And I've had some really bad days on there. So, so I switched to Shopify, and I think it was the best decision for me for like, that's my most high volume author store.
Yeah.
For the other name, which isn't super high, not as high volume, it's just like a little pen name that chugs along. I think the Payhip store is perfect, and I love it. So, again, I think it's okay to change too. Like, I think it's okay to like try new things, and like I think
And
you have to do what's right.
Maybe I don't want to use the word simple, because Payhip isn't simple either, but maybe going for rather than, it's a way to dip your toe into maybe direct sales without, because there is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah.
I agree. So anyone who's not tech savvy like me, people ask me all the time, like, what should I start my store with? And I tell them Payhip. I don't say Shopify. Now, don't get me wrong. My Shopify store is great. And like, now it's good. And again, I still struggle with it. It's not an easy platform to use, especially if you're not tech savvy.
No, it's not. I'm tech savvy, and I've been having a dip around, and it's not. It's
not. It's definitely not. It's not like intuitive,
It's a lot to learn. A lot to learn. Just to do one thing.
Having said all that, I want to remind us all about how before we started self-publishing, and we used to have discussions about, oh my God, Twitter. Who understands Twitter? And has everyone figured out Amazon's central? Like, what are we doing? How do we work that Vellum thing? How do we, like there's always platforms, and we can all learn it.
There's always things. Yeah.
So many.
Evolution.
But it's a mindset thing, right? And I think that I'm a big believer in sometimes giving yourself permission to crawl before you walk, and not that I'm saying Payhip's crawling, but applying that kind of mindset, I think, makes it a little bit less overwhelming for us.
Or
I
even just
agree.
giving yourself
I,
time, like saying, not saying, okay, I'm going to set it up on Shopify and expect to be making millions next week. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be time to set it up. It's going to take
Yeah.
time to figure it out, and that's
Yeah.
okay. It's just a learning process.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are going to be ups and downs depending upon how well your ads are performing, what different things you're doing to promote it. You know, I've had some really good months on my Shopify store, and I've had some really crappy months on my Shopify store. And like, I think there seems to be this sometimes like this perception in the author world that like, oh, if an author has a good month on their direct store, then that's it, they've made it. But it's like everything else in publishing. It's like, you know, we always have, you know, it's our goal is to try and be as consistent as possible. And I fail at that often. Like I'm still working out how to get my months more consistent. You know, I have some gangbuster months, and I have some months where I'm like, I'm glad we can move on from that one. Like, let's
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And there's so
you
much
know,
going on in the world that could impact sales that we have to take into
Yeah.
account, even though we don't want
exactly.
to. That's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are
Do you
your
do
big
your-
sales months, are they in line with launches, or is it just an ad takes off? Or
A lot of times it's an ad takes off. And the thing is I'm getting better at figuring out what ads work, but it just took a long time for me. I'm not someone who it's because I'm not someone who buys from Facebook ads. So it took me a really long time to figure out like what ad copy and what images and what reels would draw people in, because I didn't understand it myself, because I am not someone who markets like that.
Yeah.
And I really do think that's important. Like, you have to understand what makes people buy. So finally, after testing 4,000 ads and ad copies, I now think that I'm finally getting like what makes my customers buy. And so when I have ads kick in and do well, then that really helps with.
So that was my
having a good
question. You're
month.
doing the ads yourself, Rebecca, as well.
I am. So here's another thing that I'll give people advice on. I have so much advice, take it or leave it. But I have twice now hired people to do Facebook ads for me, twice now. And both times I lost money. So my lesson from that after the second time was I can be a chump and try it again to find someone else to lose money on, or I can suck it up and do it myself, which I did not want to do. I knew her basics of Facebook ads, but I was just like, I don't want to do this. And I know that so many authors are that way. And even me with my sales background, I'm not a digital marketing person. So I didn't I was like a face-to-face salesperson. So that's digital marketing is completely different. So, and I found when I first started Facebook ads, I found the whole platform just so confusing. It was just like Greek to me. I didn't understand any of it. And finally, it just took me so long. It took me losing money from paying other people to try and run my Facebook ads. The thing is that no one knows your books better than you. No one's going to be able to make a reel about your book better than you. No one's going to be able to write ad copy about your book better than you. And even if you make the reels and the ad copy for those people, no one is going to be able to run ads. They're just not better than you are. And it just so now I tell authors when they ask me, I tell them I tried it and it didn't work for me, and I had to just suck it up and teach myself how to do it, and it was excruciatingly painful. But now I get it.
And I think the bottom line is, it's different. We're not selling cars or high ticket items. Even with a book bundle, it's still a really fine margin in there. So to be able to earn back the money that you are paying for that person's time to do that, it's a really high bar to set.
Absolutely. You have to make double the profit, right? Because you're paying someone else to do it. So it's just, I wish it had worked, because that would have been great, but
you got other things to do.
Yeah, exactly. But and I think the one thing I wish someone had told me, so I'll tell this to all the authors out there who struggle with Facebook ads, because I really struggled. So like, everyone who's like, I feel like we don't hear this enough in the author, like we just hear about how successful everyone is and everyone is great. And I ran this ad and I had this TikTok viral thing. And I'm just like, that's not my experience with being an author. Like, I'm a mid-list, like grinding it out author, right? And I do fine, but like, I've never had a viral TikTok or anything like that. So like, anyone who's like, oh my God, I don't know if I'll be able to learn this. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. My advice is just be gentle with yourself. My problem was that I wasn't gentle with, I was mad at myself because I couldn't figure it out. It, like the platform was so hard for me to understand, the Facebook ads platform. And I'm in my mid-40s. I'm not tech savvy. I could not, it just was so hard for me to understand all the different things I had to turn on. Like, why are they showing my catalog items?
Oh my
like,
God, this is my story.
right?
So my story.
Exhausting. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I just spent time, I mean, on YouTube, just like watching different videos of Facebook experts. And that's really how I taught myself. I just spent time like going through until I learned every single thing. And it was, so, it was excruciating, but now I've got it. So like now I can say to other people, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to be willing to invest in yourself, and you have to be willing to give yourself grace for when you get frustrated and just like walk away. And like, for me, I had to break it up. Like I'll learn the like campaign ad set. And then once I'm done with that, I'll learn how to do the middle ad set. Like, and then once I'm done with that, I'll learn how to do the ads. Like I had to break everything up because it was so confusing to me. So
I think it's a really, really good, it's more than just a tip. I think that's a really good mindset, which circles us back exactly to just approaching this and the visibility. It's doing it one step at a time, because it is very overwhelming no matter what it is.
yes.
Nice.
Definitely. And then so to segue into buy direct from authors. So like this, if you guys are ready for me to talk about that stuff, like this is what I'm like super excited about. So okay,
this is in your 26th hour of the day that you've done this, by the way. Can I just point it out?
This is like, I said to my friends, like, oh, I decided to create another business. And they're like, because I do these other promos, I'm gonna create this other business called Buy Direct from Authors. And my girlfriends are like, are you psycho? Like, so anyway, yeah. So as I was like struggling to learn direct sales, and I was like, getting better at it, and I'm like, I can do this. Okay. There are all these groups, direct sales groups. We're all in them. We're like, authors are in there, and they're like, everyone's sharing their stories. Everyone's sharing what ad worked and whatever. Everyone's sharing their ad copy and like what worked for them, which is great. Like I love the collaboration. And that just got me thinking, because I love cross promo, right? Because like that's what we're doing with Indie Audiobook Deals and Romance, Audiobook Worms, Stuff Your Earbuds, and everything. So I'm like, okay, so we're all of these authors, we're all focused on direct sales, we're all running our own Facebook ads, we're in these groups and we're sharing info, but we're not collectively marketing together. We're all marketing in silos, right? So it's like, I'm running my Facebook ads and you're running your Facebook ads and whatever. So I have to teach my readers that I find to buy direct from me. You have to teach your readers. You have to teach your readers. And I thought, well, there has got to be an easier way for this, right? That we can all work together and collectively train our readers to purchase from us directly. And so I created Buy Direct from Authors, which is, so the website is buydirectfromauthors.com. And to like simply explain it, it's basically like Yelp, but for authors' direct stores. So it's like a listing, and each author who wants to submit their store can create their listing, and it has an image of their, whatever they want to put, either their face or their book bundle or whatever. It describes what genre they write, obviously what their author name is. And then it has different keywords. And so the site is searchable. So when you go on Yelp and you want Mexican food, you search Mexican. So when you go on Buy Direct from Authors and you want steamy small town romance, you search steamy small town romance, and all the authors' listings that write steamy small town romance will pop up, or cozy mystery, or whatever you want to search for. So that's the site. That's the like collective site where authors can upload their listing. And then I've also obviously created a Substack. Hello. For Buy Direct from Authors. So we have our own dedicated Substack for that.
Of course.
Right. So my goal is for that. We have about 500 subscribers right now. Like I just launched this about a month ago. Great, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's good. I'll take that in the first month. So I'm sending out. So if you put your store on the site, then I'm also doing other things. Like authors can submit. Like I'll send out a spotlight on them in the Substack. I'm sending out new releases once a month. I'm sending out coupon codes to people's stores. So kind of like a BookBub deal, but in our Substack, right? So we could train. And then train our readers to buy directly. And then I'm of course reposting the Substack that I send from Buy Direct from authors from Romance Audiobook Worms and from Indie Audiobook Deals. So that's 100,000 subscribers right there that are seeing it as I'm reposting it on Substack. This is like the power of Substack, right? So that's growing. And then of course I created like a Facebook and an Instagram and a Threads, which I also do my hosting for that, like I do for my author names. So everyone who follows us on Facebook or Instagram is getting touched every day with a reminder, the graphic, Buy Direct from authors, here's the website. So people can visit our, follow our page, visit our whatever. And the authors that have joined so far, I have gotten tons of emails like, oh my God, I sold 5 bundles last week. This is amazing. Like, and I know it was from this site because I used a special link so that I could tell. The other thing is that in your listing, we have click tracking. So you're able to see in your author dashboard, in your listing, everyone has their own login where they upload all their stuff. You're able to see how many clicks you're getting. So every author can see, it's fully transparent. So you can see exactly how many clicks your listing is getting. And so I'm really excited about it.
Is this a free service, Rebecca?
It is not free. So this one I am charging for.
Yeah.
But I think it's
I'm almost relieved for you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, to set up a store like that, that's not an easy thing. Yeah.
Definitely. So, but I made it very reasonable. So it's the cost is a one-time upload fee to upload your listing of $45. And then it's a subscription of $5 a month to keep your store on the site. Yeah. So that's it. So $45 and $5 a month. So I think that's pretty reasonable for tons of cross promotion and everything else that everyone gets just from like being on the site.
That's awesome. I think that's good. And so it's to the store. So it's no longer just audiobooks. This is to everything that someone is selling direct on their website. Yeah.
Correct. So this is like a completely different venture than the Indie Audiobook Deal. So, this is only for authors with direct stores. And so when you create your listing, you have the option to upload anything you want to any links you want to upload. So you have a lot of options. So you obviously have to upload a direct store link. So it can be a link to your bundle, or it could be a link to your homepage on your direct store, whatever you want to do. It's up to the author. And then we have all of these other links you can add in if you want. They're optional. So you can add in your newsletter link, your link to Facebook, your link to Instagram, your link to wherever you want to link to. YouTube, like a lot of authors want to grow their subscribers on YouTube. So anyway, so you can put it, anything that you want to put on the store. And then I also have the ability for authors to do like featured deals on the site as well. So you can like pick a bundle that you want to do 40% off on or whatever. And then you can put it at the top of the site under the featured deal spot for like a certain amount of time. And then, those really convert well. So, because I can see the clicks on those too. So,
yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
Wow,
See,
that's so good.
Outside the box thinker there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So, where do people go?
I just think it's so if people go to buydirectfromauthors.com, they can see the site. And then if they want to add their store, they can email admin@buydirectfromauthors.com. That'll go straight to me. And then I'll send you back the frequently asked questions. I just want everyone to like read the FAQs, and I'll send them to you guys. You can put them in your show notes.
Thank you.
So the FAQs like explain everything, like what my idea, like why I created the site, like my whole idea is like us collaboratively working together to train our readers to buy directly. And then I explain the cost and like all the different marketing opportunities and all of that. So
love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for organizing that for all the direct sales people out there. But we have past the end of our interview and continued on. So it's fascinating talking to you, Rebecca. So it's awesome, and I'm sure our listeners will be super pleased to hear everything you've had today to say today. But if someone wants to find you, where's the best place to find you on the internet?
Probably, like if they want to actually see my face, probably Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. That's where I post anything that, So, or RebeccaHefner.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. And where can we be found, Shah?
We can be found at spargirlspodcast.com, and we are on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube at Spa Girls Podcast, and Patreon, of course, if you'd like to buy us a coffee and support the show.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much, Rebecca. It's been a
Yes.
It was
fantastic
just
interview.
awesome. We're in awe. We're all kind
Yeah.
of quiet, just
I
feeling.
think I need to lay down.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you for having me on. And I'm sorry I talked so long. Oh my God, I talked so much.
It was
No.
fantastic.
No.
We're just in
Stuff.
awe of we're in awe of your brain.
Yeah.
And your
I would have cut
and
you
your
off
work
if I
ethic.
hadn't have been enjoying it.
I know. Give me the hook. Give me the hook.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank you for having me on.
no
You're
worries at
so
all.
welcome. Thanks
And
for
thank you
being
to
here.
all of our listeners for listening to another episode of the Spa Girl podcast. That's all for now, but we'll be back again next week with another episode.
Keep well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.